Once upon a time lived a little girl named Snow White. She lived in a castle along with her dad and mom. Now one day her mom died, so her dad got another wife, but that was Snow White's stepmother. But the stepmother was evil, but Snow White didn't know about. The stepmother had a magic mirror that she asked every day, "Oh mirror, tell me who is the most beautiful girl on this world." And the mirror said, "You are, my queen." As time passed, Snow White grew up, and one day her stepmother asked the mirror again, oh mirror, tell me who is the most beautiful girl on this world?" The mirror said, "Snow White is." The queen was full of anger, so she hired a man to kill Snow White and of the honor of killing her to bring her her heart. The man saw Snow White and was planning to kill her, but he couldn't because he didn't feel like it. So instead of killing Snow White, he told her to run deeply in the woods so no one can find her, and told her about her stepmother, that she was evil. Snow White immediately ran in the woods, and instead of killing Snow White, he killed a wild pig and got his heart in a little box and bring it to the queen. While Snow White was running in the woods, it was dark, really dark, so she immediately fell asleep and she was so scared. The next morning, she was walking in the woods, trying to find somewhere so she could live, and suddenly she found a little house. She walked into the house, and in the house was a little table with 7 little bowls of soup, with 7 little spoons. She was so hungry, so she didn't want to eat the soup because it wasn't her soup. So she got a spoon and got a sip of the soup from each bowl of soup. Snow White was so tired. She got upstairs of the house and saw 7 little beds. She was too big to fit in the beds, so she stacked some up and lay down on them. When the night comes, 7 little dwarves were singing a song and going home. Then when they come home, they saw the table and they saw that some of the soup is missing. They were tired, so they go upstairs and saw Snow White. They were scared, so they ran away. After that, they met Snow White and they were friends. And Snow White asked them if she can stay. But they said only if she makes her food and cleans the house. That's the only way Snow White could stay in that little house. So, as time passed, the dwarves from morning to night go on work, gold digging. And while that, Snow White one day, the dwarves in the morning go to work, and Snow White was baking a pie. Anyways, about the queen, she actually found out that she asked the mirror who is the most beautiful girl on the world, and the mirror said, Snow White, and she was so angry that she found out that Snow White wasn't dead. So that she asked the mirror, where is Snow White? The mirror told her that she is deeply in the woods in a little dwarf's house. So the queen dressed up as an apple seller, like an old lady, and made poison apple to poison Snow White. She found out where she was staying, and she acted like an old lady selling some apples. So Snow White really wanted an apple for her apple pie, so she bought an apple. So she gave her the poison apple, which was poison. And Snow White took a bite of that apple and immediately followed and died. After that, the queen ran away as fastly as she can. Now Snow White didn't know it was the queen because she was dressed up as an apple seller. After that, the dwarves come home and saw Snow White laying on the ground. So they put her in a golden chest and deeply in the woods. They were crying, but suddenly a prince came, and he saw Snow White and fell in love with her. But it was too late. Snow White was already dead. But he said to the dwarves that if he can take the chest and put her in her castle. The dwarves agreed. The prince asked the guards to take the chest and put it in the castle. While they were taking the chest, the apple bite fell from Snow White's mouth, and she immediately woke up. The prince saw that, and they both fell in love with each other and lived happily ever after. Once upon a time lived 3 little piggies in a little house with their mom. But when they grown up, the mom said to them, "You can't live in this house anymore. You have to find your own houses and build them." So that's what they did. The littlest piggy was very lazy, so he made his house from straw. The second piggy, he was not that lazy, but he was still lazy, so he made his house from sticks. The oldest piggy, that was not lazy, built his house from bricks, even though it took a long time. One day, a wolf was walking on the road, and he saw the littlest piggy's house from straw. So he knocked on the door. Little pig, let me in." The little pig was very frightened, so he said, "I won't let you in, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." So the wolf said, "If you don't let me in, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." So that's what the wolf did. He huffed and he puffed and he puffed and he blowed the little piggy's house of straw. The little piggy ran over to his brother in the house of sticks. The wolf was chasing him to lead him to the house of sticks. So the wolf knocked on the door and said, little pigs, let me in." The 2 little piggies were very frightened, so they said, "We won't let you in." So the wolf said, "Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." So that's what he did. He huffed and he puffed and he blew the house from sticks. The 2 little piggies ran over to the house of bricks with their oldest brother. The wolf was also chasing them, so he knocked on the door. Little pigs, let me in." The 3 little piggies were very frightened, so they said, "Not by the hair of a chinny chin chin." So the wolf huffed and he puffed and he didn't blow the house because it was very strong. So a wolf got an idea. He said that he'll climb from the chimney and he will go in the house. But the biggest pig has an idea. He put the fire on the chimney, so the wolf will burn his tail. So that's what he did. The wolf climbed down the chimney and he got burned by the fire, and he never comes back. And the 3 little piggies lived happily ever after in their house of bricks. The end. The Fox and the Stork. A long, long time ago lived a fox and a stork. They were best friends. One day, the fox invited the stork for lunch. When the stork saw the table, the plate was very short, so the stork couldn't even taste the soup because his beak was very big. So the stork left. A few days later, the stork invited the fox for dinner. When the fox saw the table, there was two long vases filled with soup. The fox couldn't even taste the soup because his mouth was very small. So the fox left. From that day on, the fox and the stork were never friends again. The end. Hello guys, today I'm going to tell you the story about the goose who laid golden eggs. Once upon a time lived a man and his wife, and they had a goose. That goose was a special goose who laid golden eggs every day. So they sold the golden eggs and slowly became rich. And they also became greedy and wanted to get rich and more rich faster. So they killed the goose. They wanted to become more rich faster. So they thought that in the goose was more gold. So they killed the goose. But instead of the goose having gold inside it, it didn't have nothing. It was just like an ordinary goose. Because they were greedy, now they aren't rich anymore. I hope you learned the lesson that you shouldn't be greedy and greediness gives you nothing. Hi guys, and welcome back to another story. Today I'm going to be telling the story about Goldilocks and the three bears. Okay, let's start. Once upon a time lived a little girl named Goldilocks. She was walking in the forest and saw a house. So she went by the house and she knocked on the door. But no one answered, so she went right in. At first she was in the kitchen, and there were three porridges on the table. She tried the first porridge, but it was too hot. She tried the second porridge, but it was too cold. Then she tried the third porridge, and it was just fine, so she ate it all up. Then she got a little tired, so she went in the living room, and she found three chairs. She tried the first one and said, "This is too big." She tried the second one and said, "This is too big too." So she sat on the first one, which was small, and she said, "This is just right." But after she sat, she broke the chair to pieces. Then she got really tired and she wanted to sleep. So she went upstairs and found three beds. She laid on the first bed and said, "This bed is too hard." Then she laid on the second bed and said, "This bed is too soft." Then she laid on the third bed and said, "This is just right." And she fell asleep immediately. Then the owners of the house arrived. They were the three bears, Mama Bear, Papa Bear, and Little Bear. They went in the kitchen and come to eat their porridge. Papa Bear said, "Someone has been eating from my porridge." Then Mama Bear said, "Someone has been eating from my porridge too." Then Little Bear said, "Someone has been eating from my porridge and he ate it all up." Then the bears went to the living room. And Papa Bear said, "Someone has been sitting on my chair." Then Mama Bear said, "Someone has been sitting on my chair too." Then Little Bear said, "Someone has been sitting on my chair and he broke it." Then he cried. Then the bears went to the bedroom, and Papa Bear said, "Someone has been laying in my bed." Then Mama Bear said, "Someone has been laying in my bed too." Then Little Bear said, "Someone has been laying in my bed and he's still there." Then Goldilocks woke up and she screamed. She was afraid. Then she ran out of the house and never came back. Bye guys, I hope you enjoyed the story. See you next time.